I was a little disappointed that Joe didn't mention that I also sing. I was in the Pomona College choir, I'll have you know. Yeah. I don't know why that didn't come up. I first came to Pomona 47 years ago. And it was just recently before that 47 was actually discovered or invented. If it weren't for that, I would have to say I came here more than 46 years ago, but less than 48, but the mystery would remain. So my job is to give you life advice, and then I will proceed to do so. I learned some things at Pomona College. And one of them was one of them occurred during a class that I had when I was a senior in medieval art history. And this was a class that was taught by an extremely scholarly and extremely old professor. She knew everything about Gothic cathedrals, and we thought it was because she was there when they were built. In any case, and I would sit in the back of the room because you weren't allowed to sit in the hall. And one day, she would show a picture. You know, she'd show these pictures, these Byzantine kind of pictures. And one day, the dreaded words came from this mobile fossil. She said, "Mr. Starbird, what do you see in this picture?" Well, the picture was of, you know these pictures. I don't know what they were thinking. The hands are way too long. The head is too small. You know, it's got a big halo. You know these pictures? You know what I'm talking about? I was a math major. Obviously, nothing was coming to my mind about that. But I had been in art history classes, and I knew that art has meaning. So I said, I think the halo represents the circle of life, emerging from the darkness of the primordial void, arcing into the glory of shining heaven, and proceeding on to the infinity of the abyss. I assure you, it was ripe. She said, "Cut out the bull and tell me what you see." And that's the moral of the story. To be honest about what you actually know and what you don't know. To say, instead of thinking about what you think the other person wants to hear, what do you actually understand? And I think that this is a transformational habit. If you get into this habit, it will actually, completely change your life. However, that advice has some difficulties, and that is that actually most of us understand almost nothing. And what you now revere as core truths will often later reveal some disturbing nuance, such as later it'll seem completely bogus. In my generation's case, the attitude was, you may remember, that you would never trust someone over 30. Somehow that's an example that would not lend itself to an example of enduring wisdom that will stand the test of time. But at the time, it seemed fine. So I can ask you, do you really know why you support the collection of opinions that you hold dear? Political opinions, religious views, social views? The answer is that you don't really. And neither do the people who have opposite opinions. They don't really know. Acrimony ensues, right? So I have a modest proposal that promotes civility and anchors us all in the reality of our own limited understanding. And here's what I propose. Every time you state an opinion, such as, I think the death penalty is not a great idea, except, of course, for a few people I could name. You state that opinion, but instead of just stating it, you also state a percentage that captures how strongly you actually believe that. So you say, I think the death penalty is a bad idea, 80%. Isn't that a great idea? And this way, if somebody gives you some credible evidence on the opposite side, you don't have to abandon your opinion altogether. You have room to wiggle, and you say, I still think the death penalty is a great idea. I mean, not a great idea, but now only 68%. You see what I mean? I think it's brilliant. They're not buying it, but... Also, anybody who says that they are 100% sure of any opinion are really saying that they're completely closed-minded and that no amount of evidence will penetrate the concrete. Those people should be ignored. So just getting in the habit of realizing and acknowledging to yourself that you yourself really are not certain and that you might well adjust your opinions with evidence and experience, that's an important thing. So you're taking a huge step forward toward realizing personal understanding and wisdom. Doubt is good. I believe that the idea of embracing doubt is good advice. About 93%. But I do have one small complaint to make to President Oxtoby. Sorry, but when he called me and told me about this wonderful honor, I was quite sure that he said I would have 3 to 5 hours to speak. And I thought that was about right to get started. But only recently did I learn that it was supposed to be 3 to 5 minutes. That was annoying. So I decided the only way to handle this disappointment was to give you each a copy of my book co-authored with Edward Berger called The 5 Elements of Effective Thinking, and it basically describes how to become more insightful, more innovative, and more creative. And so I hope you do enjoy it, and you all had it on your table there. So anyway, thank you, and best wishes for a constructive and happy life, 100%.